Termites! It's episode 31. The pub is open. What are we drinking? Well, look what I got in Florida. A little Funky Buddha Groovable Lager, a Vibin Groovable. It's from Oakland Park, Florida. And I like any much kind of lager, and I really like the can. I'm a sucker for that. Same with wine labels. Although I don't tend to buy that much wine because, I did get that wand deal to see, for those of you who are allergic to talons, I know those are eagle claws, but I like to say that. Tannins in wine, and then you just, everything bad happens. Somebody who listens to this podcast too said that her brother-in-law invented this thing. So I have two kinds of wine. I will show you on the next Pubcast. But before I do the Pubcast, I'm going to drink like a Merlot and maybe a cab. And then I'm going to use it and I'm going to give a full review of how bad my headache was the next day. Won't that be exciting for everybody? But if it works, it's a whole new world for those of us who have been shoved out of the wine world because of allergies and crap. So we're going to do that next time, though, not this time, because there was too much going on. And usually I tape on Sundays and air on Tuesdays, but it's Monday, which means it's International Women's Day. And you know what I know about that? Nothing. My friend Bill called. He's on the radio in Pittsburgh. Bill Crawford. Any Pittsburgh people out there? He's a wonderful man. He's so funny. And sometimes radio people, truthfully, can be a little much. You know, they try hard. And some are great and some are not. But Bill Crawford, Pittsburgh, he called to see if I would do the show, which I did do. But I was like, dude, I didn't even know it was International Women's Day. I don't know what that means. Are there lunch specials? Is there a parade?
I hope so.
Let me check. Hold on. I'm pretty sure the stock market's open. So once again, you go, now, is that real? Let's see. Here's my little Yahoo account. Yeah, stock market's open. So then I Googled it, International Women's Day, and I still don't understand what I'm supposed to be doing. Is someone bringing me a present for being a chick? Anything? And I stayed up way too late watching Harry and Meghan. Oh my God. Fire! There was fire everywhere. Fire, bombshell. Here's the thing. I'll just assume everyone's telling the truth, their truth, because that's now a thing too. You can have your truth and I can have my truth. Well, at some point I go, bullshit. Is this guy blue or not? Yes or no? Well, I believe. No. Facts are facts. Anyway, she just kept saying, Meghan kept saying she didn't know how horrible it would be. Well, don't you watch the Hallmark Channel?
Yeah.
I do. I know. You know what? If I go marry a prince, I'm pretty sure I can't go to my lake bar anymore.
No.
Not without permission. Like, she just seemed shocked. And then I blame him. Why didn't you tell her? Look, when you get here, they're going to take your keys. And what keys? Do you have a car over there? Maybe. They're going to take your passport. They're going to take you can't leave the palace without letting someone know. I mean, even when you're in your 20s and you're going to date somebody, you warn them about your apartment. You know, you're like, look, I don't have any money. I just have a futon. Like, you give them a heads up. I don't understand why Harry, she seemed 1,000% shocked that this is royal life. And yet, why didn't he fill her in? Like, here's the deal. So she's not shocked and then upset. And then it went on and on and on. I don't know. Then I watched Woody and Mia. Are you guys watching that? That just gets crazier and creepier, and yeah, I don't understand why he wasn't in jail. Forget about the little kid for a minute. Why he wasn't in jail for taking nude pictures of Suni when she was underage. I don't get it. No one's explained that. Did I miss something? Maybe one of you termites watched it. I wasn't even gonna watch, but then I was just fascinated with stuff I never knew. Like, I'm sure my parents know, but I didn't know Mia Farrow's mom was Maureen O'Sullivan. Or Margaret O'Sullivan? Maureen.
Maggie. Call her Mag.
Mags. The old famous, beautiful Irish actress. Like, there's just so much stuff in there I didn't know. But anyway, that's why I'm a little late on this. Updates. Tanya, we were worried about Tanya Tucker. Turns out, I was like, I hope she didn't freeze to death because she's still boiling water in a tour bus in her own yard in Texas. She's fine. She was spotted at a diner, Old Jody's in Texas, wherever that exactly is. And there's a picture of her with the owner, and she was just so fan-friendly and down to earth. It was just wonderful. Stevie, quiet. Oh, Dolly, don't fall over. Dolly got her vaccine. Isn't that exciting? And she even wrote a little song. This was the song. I'm not going to do a lot of justice, but you should look it up. Vaccine, 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 vaccine. I'm begging of you, please don't hesitate. Vaccine, 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 vaccine. 'Cause once you're dead, it's just a bit too late.
Well done. Yeah.
Thank you, right? Go watch her singing for real. Obviously, I can't sing. And these two have been shocking, get it? Shockingly quiet. Shockingly quiet. Cher hasn't been mouthing off at all. I don't know what's going on there, but...
She's probably with the elephant still.
No, she's way home from the elephant incident in Pakistan where she saved the sad elephant. What a nice lady. Oh, I'm using my glass that I purchased at where? Turtles, my parents' favorite outdoor. Well, it's not all outdoor, but... Whoa, the lights just went off around in here. And there's no fucking storm.
Stroke.
That was not a stroke. That was a ghost. Maybe because I said turtles.
Yeah.
And sometimes I mean old people. Well, I always do when I say turtles. And then super turtles, those are people that are out golfing over the age of 90. And there's some out there. And it's so exciting. Where you'll look up on a tee box and you'll see one just scooting along. Little tiny steps. And you're like, super turtle on the tee box. Oh, good for them, though. They're still out golfing. What are we trying to eat? Well, let's stay with the ranch. Do you have any ranch? I've got a lot of ranch. I've got, like, so much ranch. I can't wait for these teenagers to come back. I really can't. And that's all I'm going to do is shower them with ranch and ranch products. What are we trying right now? Doritos 3D Crunch Spicy Ranch. It's not a chip. It's like a bugle. Remember those?
Delicious.
It's a triangle. It's spicy, great. Highly recommend. Now these, I don't really have the teeth for this because I've paid a lot of my hard-earned cash for implants and crowns, fillings, shit show teeth. Yeah, ranch corn nuts. You better have good teeth. I would not eat these except for the sake I'm trying them for you guys because it's gonna. I could crack a tooth, but
Delicious.
Crunchy corn kernels, ranch flavored corn nuts. And I'll say, it's only 130 calories if you eat this whole bag. Jesus, there's like 1,000 nuts in there. Sodium, yeah, here we go, 200 milligrams.
Nice.
Carbs, well, 20 grams.
It's corn.
Yeah, well, they're delicious. So that's 2 for 2. And I did not get to my fast food places this week that I was going to, but I will this week, I promise, and try it. Because now I do not even.
Tomorrow the Taco Bell thing comes out.
Tomorrow the chicken sandwich in the thing at Taco Bell.
Yeah, we gotta go to Nashville.
I'll go to Nashville. Make sure I go right to a Taco Bell in Nashville. I will do it. I did not know, when you guys think of breakfast at fast food restaurants, what's the first one you think of?
Waffle House.
No, a fast food restaurant.
Oh. McDonald's.
Waffle House is wonderful.
Yeah.
McDonald's, the Egg McMuffin. Well, you know who's making a shitload, and I don't even think of them for breakfast, is Wendy's. Wendy's went all in on breakfast, and it's paying off. People are eating at home, but Wendy's say they're still showing up for breakfast. They grew by 2%, and it's all because of breakfast. 7% of their sales is breakfast. That's amazing. I don't even know what they serve for breakfast.
I think it's a weird burger.
Well, there's a picture of something. An egg and cheese sandwiches on croissants or biscuits. See, I don't want either one of those. No. How about white bread? Nobody does that though, right? Nobody cares about my old school white bread. Can you just get some? My father, who's had a heart attack, still continues to eat bacon sandwiches with mayonnaise on white bread. And it has to be Wonder or he's not eating it. And I thought, wow, that heart attack, it scared him for like 5 seconds. And he's not fat. I've never seen anybody eat that kind of bacon in a lifetime. And it hadn't killed him yet. So eat on, Jack. Now I'm going to go to Wendy's and see what their breakfast menu is because I don't really think of them for breakfast. I think of their chili, which is great.
Yeah.
And their burgers, which are great. And that's all I think of when I think of Wendy's. If you guys, well, I'll go. I'll make a little fast food run this week. Excuse me, baby shoe Madigan needs to move the shoe. Updates! I know there's some younger people out there that like it when I scream it like that. So I'll continue to do it. Just because it's so fucking annoying. Updates! Oh, could I also say about the Harry and Meghan interview? They claimed that it was very confusing. They kept saying the firm and then the institution. So I don't know. I don't think Oprah did a very good job of defining which is which and who is in who and which is responsible for which. She needed to ask, and it never got asked. And I'm like, well, who's in the firm? Who's in the institution? Then he claims, Harry says he went to HR to get human resources. I'm like, whoa, your family has human resources? At this Easter, when our family gets together, I'm going to bring that up and say I think we need to get an HR department going for this family. And especially because my parents have checked out, basically. They don't really get involved in the day-to-day anymore. Then you know what? We need a department. If the Royals can have one, so can the Madigans. So crazy. I've watched so many Hallmark movies about princesses. I don't know why she didn't watch one. She would have at least had somewhat of an idea because they kind of stick to the gun, you know. I'm not saying it's true. It's kind of true. Updates! Oh my God. John Mcafee, remember him? We talked about him a long time ago. The show Gringo, the documentary about the crazy guy. He was the guy, the antivirus Mcafee guy that had all that money. And then he went to South America and then it pretty much seems like he killed his neighbor and got away with that and then ran away and he's been on the run. Well, he's in Spain in a prison now, but now.
What? Spain?
Spain, Paddles. We've already talked about this. He's tweeting from a Spanish prison. I don't even understand how you get Twitter in prison. I don't get it, but he does. Here's the latest. He's already in the prison. He was requested by us. We asked because he hasn't paid taxes in like forever because he has some crazy ass argument that it's not legal for them to charge us taxes, yada yada blah blah. Maybe it ain't, but you know what, you have to, or you're gonna end up in prison. So that's your choices. You can sit there and present every argument under the sun, but it's not gonna help you. Antivirus pioneer John Mcafee, 75, is charged with money laundering and fraud for using Twitter to promote cryptocurrencies. That's my favorite thing. Oh my God. Don't trash Bitcoin. That he was secretly invested in to inflate their value and then sell them for profit. So here's the deal. John Mcafee, the eccentric antivirus pioneer who for years claimed to have evidence that the government is corrupt. Well, right, John. Probably every government is corrupt. I'm not saying ours is any worse or any better than anybody else's, but even if you have this evidence, then you need to just bring it out. But just to say these weird, there's something really not right about this guy, but you got to go watch that show Gringo if you never watched it. He's been charged with money laundering. Oh, wait. He has been charged with money laundering and securities fraud over his alleged involvement in a scheme where he allegedly used Twitter to what I just read. The Justice Department announced the charges on Friday. He is still in custody in Spain, where he was arrested in October of 2020 on suspicion of tax evasion. It's not suspicion either. He's just flat out saying, I don't do it. Just admitting it. I think that actor Wesley Snipes got involved in all this, and he ended up going to jail too. The U.S. was seeking extradition, but then he has still not been brought over to the United States. It's unclear if this is due to COVID-19 or other reasons. The Department of Justice spokesman declined to comment on his extradition. According to his wife, he needs American lawyers to work with his Spanish lawyers now to help him fight extradition.
Good luck.
Yeah, good luck. Especially, I don't know, the wife's a little off too. I mean, who would marry this? He's a crazy person. I mean, he's super smart. And he seems fun sometimes, I guess. Depends on definition of fun. According to the indictment, Mcafee and his co-defendant Jimmy Gale Watson Jr. used McAfee's Twitter account, where he has hundreds of thousands of dollars, to promote what are known as altcoins. Bitcoin is just one of the cryptocurrencies. There's a ton of coins, different kinds, as we've discussed on this thing. Altcoins are various types of currency that are not Bitcoin. So it's the alternative to Bitcoin, which would be Ethereum, or, as I like to call it, doggy coin. I know it's not pronounced that way, but it has a dog on it. The criminal complaint did not list which altcoins he allegedly lied about. In December 2015, McAfee tweeted about 5, including Digibyte, Burst, and SafeX. Never heard those. He told his investors he was invested in SafeX. He told his followers he was invested in SafeX and originally didn't even tout it. He did not indicate if he was invested in the others. An examination of each price before and after he tweeted shows how when he commented on them right before they spiked, he and his team would sold them. That doesn't make sense. For escalated prices on short-term markets. So I get what he's doing, but I also don't know why, if he's just tweeting this as a normal individual. They raised suspicion when they claimed to the New York Stock Exchange that it had rejected their application to liquidate. He now faces 60 years behind bars if convicted. He's a notorious anti-establishment crusader. He says on Twitter, where he's still communicating with followers from Spanish jail, that he simply refuses to participate in the U.S. tax system because it's extortion. Okay, well, yeah, then you can't ever come back. And if they find you, well, this is what's going to happen. You're going to be sitting in a Spanish prison, which, I mean, at least they let you tweet there. The indictment refers to what's known as finance as scalping or pumping and dumping. We get all that. He allegedly made $11 million from cryptocurrencies. And then they just liquidate the stock. So I don't know, though. I don't understand. Unless it's his coin, or maybe he's getting in with those people. I don't know, but I think he's done. That's my prediction. He's done. Because he's already 75 years old. Even if you get out of this shit show in 5 years, you're 80. Update! Moving on. Remember how I told you guys in Florida they're building the flying taxi stands? They're already building them. Well, we talked about this. This company, Lilium, a German startup that's making an all-electrical vertical takeoff and landing passenger jet. So if you Google it, Paddles we'll put it in the show notes. To watch this thing fly is pretty cool. And I can't describe what it looks like to do it any justice, but we're getting Jetson-y. We're getting there. It has merged. It's in talks to go public through a merger with Quell Acquisition Corporation, a special purpose acquisition company, according to people with knowledge of the matter. Quell has began discussions to raise new equity for a transaction to value the combined entity at more than $2 billion. So they've got the money. This is great. Munich-based Lilium, count on the Germans, co-founded in 2015 by engineers Daniel Wiegand and so-and-so, became a so-called unicorn last year after raising $35 million from Bally and Gifford Company. No idea. So they have the money. Google the German flying taxi. You're gonna love it. Here's another update. This is what I don't know if I agree with this. More of the old rock stars selling their music. Now, I did find out another reason, but actually, my brother told me this. It's not like I hunted this down. A lot of it's about capital gains taxes, but this includes Bob Dylan, Stevie. The Beach Boys are going to try to brand themselves now like Jimmy Buffett did with Margaritaville. Too late.
Right.
That ship came and went. I mean, right. If you said to my nieces and nephews, you know, who's the Beach Boys, they're not even going to know. It's like, wow, how old are the fucking Beach Boys? Like, you can't go, hey, let's be a brand. You're 90. But anyway, so Bob Dylan, He sold a bunch. They're all selling it. Well, he sold to Universal Music Group. Oh yeah, here, I'll just read it. Because I don't know about this. For years, music executives had approached Dylan about buying his catalog, which includes more than 600 songs. Yeah, we know. Dylan always turned them down, but in December, the 79-year-old reconsidered and made a more than $300 million in a pact with Universal Music Group. The sale was the largest in recent deals in which stars have cashed in on their old songs. Lindsey Buckingham, Shakira. Shakira's already selling? Hips Don't Lie is still playable. It's a great song. Neil Young and producer Jimmy Iovine sold all the parts of the rights to their catalogs, while Stevie Nicks and songwriter Ryan Tedder, who's written for Adele, Beyonce, and Carrie Underwood, sold the majority stakes in theirs. I don't know, guys. Music assets are being bought and sold all the time, but there's never been a period as active as the past few months. Right. Industry executives cite the emergence of aggressive buyers, low interest rates, COVID-19, which is preventing the musicians from touring, their primary source of income. I don't know that it is their primary source of income. It depends on if you wrote your own song or you're a co-writer and you're splitting it 10 ways. Like, Fleetwood Mac, some of their songs, everybody, well, never John McVie, but they all, it's Lindsay, Stevie, Christine, you got to split all that. But I'll tell you, the queen who doesn't have to go nowhere if she doesn't want to, right here, baby, right here. Because Dolly done writes her own songs. All she's got to do is have them keep playing Whitney Houston singing I Will Always Love You, straight to the bank. Another factor, this is the real part of the reason I think they're all doing it, and then I Googled this after my brother mentioned it. Another factor, the U.S. presidential election. Joe Biden has pledged to increase capital gains tax, so the stars wanted to reach agreements before that happened. These artists are all in their 70s, early 70s, mid-70s, and that age you should be thinking about estate planning. And they're going to different places. Oh my God, too. Barry Manilow, what are you doing? Don't do it! I think it's just, I don't know. Life is, I guess if you don't care, I just don't think you should sell stuff you own. But I also, I'm not 75 thinking, I don't feel like going on the road. And how do they need money though? What happened? Was it La Coca? La cocaine? Too much coca? Some of them. There's a picture of the Beach Boys right now. They took this picture. This is from Rolling Stone. Brian Wilson, Mike Love, Algerino, on why they've sold a controlling interest in their intellectual property to a new company led by Irving Azoff. Irving's getting most of it. Irving is dominating it. And I don't know enough about him, but where he got all his money, but he's just throwing it down. What do you want, Stevie? $300 million? No problem. Now he owns it all. But that's forever. Yeah, I just don't. And that $300 million depends on what you do with it, I suppose. But they want this one where they want to make it a brand. I'm like, oh my God. Because they have sold, the Beach Boys have sold not just the songs. They've sold their publishing company, the Beach Boys brand, and memorabilia. And then Irving, they're going to try to, they keep comparing it to Margaritaville, and you're like, yeah.
No one's going to the Beach Boys bar.
No. They tried something. I forgot. I just read it. They had tried something, and it didn't work. Like a Beach Boys bar. There was a Beach Boys restaurant in Manhattan Beach, which is just north of Hermosa Beach, where I lived for a while as a young comedian. And I don't even remember it, so it must have come and gone super quickly. But I don't know, old turtles. I don't know. Depends on how much of it you wrote. I'd keep it. Even if I don't know. I guess if you don't have kids, though. Right? Don't you have nieces or nephews or something?
Yeah, but how long is Biden going to be in?
How long is Biden going to be in? Another question, right? The capital gains tax thing, is that what's making people make rash decisions? Update! Moving on. Just saying. This makes me very upset. Kate McKinnon, who I really liked from Saturday Night Live, she was going to be in Hulu's limited drama series called The Dropout, which is about whom? Elizabeth Holmes, which we have talked about. Yeah, I'm so disappointed because she was going to be in it. And now she remains committed to, this is good news though, she's set to star as Carol Baskin in Joe Exotic.
Perfect.
boom, which will air on NBC's Universal, NBC USA, and Peacock. But I don't know. It was based on, there's a podcast. I didn't even know. I don't think I ever talked about that, called The Dropout. I'll have to listen to it. It's about the rise and fall of Elizabeth Holmes and her company, Theranos. I guess she was supposed to play her. Oh, yeah, she was. His search is underway for a new actress to play disgraced wonderkin entrepreneur Holmes. So I was really looking forward to that. But there's an update. At least it's being made. Mm-hmm. You can go watch the Theranos thing that I told you about. On the other one, I think it was on HBO, I believe, which was really good if you really want to learn about it. Now, this is not an update, but this is a random weird thing. You have to get a pen. Do you have a pen?
I have a pen.
Do you have your phone? Can you just write this in your phone? This doesn't matter if you play the guitar or you don't. I happen to know how to play the guitar, and I tell you, in my life, on earth, I've never seen anything like what this young man can do. And that includes the greatest guitar, Lindsey Buckingham, who I think is one of the greatest guitar players, because I like that he picks out the notes and all that. But there's a million we all go, yeah, he's great, yeah, he's great, yeah, she's great, she's great. This guy, you have to see it, though. So I'm going to tell you his name and go on Instagram. Marcin, Marcan. I'm probably not going to say this right, but Petrzalek, Patrzalek. I cannot even describe what he does with an acoustic guitar.
We'll put it in the show notes.
We'll put it in the show notes. And he has his own little Instagram account. You can be a patron. He's becoming very famous. All the guy from the insane performance grabbed the attention of many rock icons, including Kiss's Paul Stanley, who simply tweeted, "Wow, Rage Against the Machine." Tom Morello was also at a loss for words, replying to his wizardry, saying some people are just really talented. The guy from Living Color also threw his opinion into the ring, saying Jimmy Page ain't seen that coming. God damn. So that's just a little fun thing. That's all the updates, kids. And now we move on. We're almost done, too, to animals that can kill you in your state. Oh, my God. We're at Ohio. What do you think, Paddles? Ohio.
Oh, age.
Think of, if you were in Cleveland, what would kill you? Cincinnati, Dayton, Columbus.
Well, Cleveland, you'd just get killed in the flats.
Cleveland, you might get killed in the flats.
Yeah.
You might.
I would say.
It's a dumb one. I'm warning you.
Like a dog.
Dogs, yeah,
No!
I know, but this is what they say. I can only deliver the news. According to dog attacks are the most common related, but I also don't think of Ohio as like, not like Missouri where we have like a lot of snakes. I don't think of it as like that. Oklahoma, moving on.
Oh.
This is due to carelessness.
Carelessness. I would say, like cattle.
Cattle?
Herds.
Herds?
Sort of a herd.
Nope. Tigers.
What?
Yep.
Oh, a Tiger King.
Yeah, because all these places that are breeding these things, as in the case with almost every other state in the Midwest, Oklahoma has been designated a large animal state by the CD's report. And like many of the others, the highest risk comes from road collisions with deers that are potentially fatal. However, Oklahoma also has an interesting habit of not being able to keep tigers contained. Do you know how many times I've had to work clubs in like Tulsa or Oklahoma City, and it can get real boring if you're there for a week, and we were usually broke, so there's a combo for you. And I just walked everywhere. I just took walks. Never occurred to me that I might
see a tiger.
Get mauled by a tiger or see a tiger. There have been multiple instances over the past few years of tigers and other large exotic species escaping, whether it's during a tornado. How about that? A flying tiger. You're just sitting you're just sitting out in your front yard somewhere else, and the baby Jesus throws a tiger from a tornado cloud, or due to a faulty fence. This is my problem with a lot of these places. Who knows? Tigers may one day prove to be more deadly than deer in Oklahoma. So that's like a fun one. But I have been to a lot of what you would call safari parks that are right off the side of the road. There's one in between. This is a reptile one. Me and Vic Henley went in it, and it's between Houston and Austin, I think. Highway 45. Does that sound right?
After Ron's house.
And they had like a zillion poisonous snakes in this place. Even me and Vic were like, I don't know. You know, it was like $10 to get in though. And then I said to the girl, there was a young girl working there, I go, who feeds all the poisonous ones? She goes, not me. There's a man that comes in and he deals with them. I just feed the easy snakes.
How do you identify that?
I don't know. I just feel like a lot of these places aren't monitored. There don't seem to be laws. Like then we went in the back and there were extra animals, like a rogue tiger. None of the fencing. I don't know. I could see how they get out. I don't feel like those places are necessarily controlled by any governing body. I think it's kind of a free-for-all in some of these states. Is Florida? You drive through some of that shit and you're like, what? How is this? What if they get out? That's what I always think. I mean, I don't even know about the rest of it. Animal rights laws and all that shit. But what if they get out? Now we're moving on to some things women have invented that nobody knows about. Here's one of my favorite ones. The dishwasher. Josephine Cochran. She wanted a machine that would wash her dishes faster than her servants.
Oh.
How rich was she? And be less likely to break them. What kind of anal? Her machine, which involved a motor turning a wheel inside a copper boiler, was the first automatic dishwasher to use water pressure. Cochran's alcoholic husband had left her with masses of debt after his death, and this motivated her to patent her invention in 1886 and open her own production factory. Okay, why is this lady's life not a movie? Okay, how much of an asshole do you have to be that you have servants? And I don't know. I mean, I've washed dishes off and on my whole life. What do you break? One thing a year? And she got so uptight about that, she looked at those servants and went, that's it. I'm going to get a machine to do this. Obviously, you people can't control yourselves. You're breaking dishes. How many did they break? And she was rich enough to have servants in 1886? I have to look all that up. Here's another good one. Home security systems, invented by who? Maria Van Britten Brown, a nurse who was often left home alone. Maria Van Britten Brown came up with an idea that would make her feel safer. Together with her husband, Albert, they developed the first home security system in response to the rising crime rates and slow police responses of the 1960s. The device was complicated with a camera powered by a motor which moved up and down the door to look through a peephole. Okay. Yeah. A monitor in her bedroom also came equipped with an alarm button. That's a good start. I'll give them points, but I don't really see anybody responding to that. It was a start. I can't say that I think that was a... It certainly wasn't the nest.
No.
South Carolina, hold my beer. It's your turn, South Carolina. Oh my God, this is so crazy, but it's what I would want if I had a choice. South Carolina senators, this is what's going on there. Tuesday added a firing squad as an alternative method of the death penalty if the state can't execute condemned inmates by way of lethal injection.
What?
Well, these are the kind of things my dad would talk about on family vacations in the car. Now, if you had your choice and you were going to be executed, I'm like 9. What? All right. Do you want to be hung? Hanging? I don't know that it's still legal anywhere, but that was a choice back then.
Firing squad.
Well, a firing squad, but it depends on how good of shots they are.
Right.
What if they suck and they just like hit me in the eye socket and I'm like, fuck. I mean,
Then you get the injection.
they gotta, I don't know. It depends. And I would always pick a firing squad if it's outside, because then you get to go outside one more time. I like the idea. Well, I mean, I don't like the idea, but if I have to choose, I'd rather be standing there with a blindfold, like that type of thing that you can picture from, like, I don't know, the old movies, the black and white movies, and they blindfold you and then just 100 people shoot you at once and it's all dramatic and you're outside. That would be That would be my choice. It's a show, if you will. It's a bit of a show. Listen to why they have to bring this back, though. The Senate then approved the bill on a key 32-11 vote, with several Democrats joining Republicans in the proposal, which would allow South Carolina to restart executions after nearly 10 years. The state can't put anyone to death now because its supply of lethal injection drugs has expired, and it hasn't been able to buy any more. So they're out of drugs to kill people that are sitting on death row. Currently, inmates can choose between the electric chair, that'd be my last choice, and lethal injection. Since the drugs are not available, they pick the method that can't be done. Oh, I get it. They pick lethal injection and then they can't do it, so they know they get to live. Smart prisoners. Why can't they get the drug? I heard Pfizer was responsible for making one of those drugs, and then they were like, yeah, we're not going to do that anymore because it's actually killing people.
They're busy with COVID.
Right. The Senate bill keeps lethal injection if the state has the drugs, but requires prison officials to use the electric chair if it does not. An inmate now could choose a firing squad if they prefer. Holy shit. They still use the electric chair that was in South Carolina that was first powered up in 1912. After taking over the death penalty cases from the counties, which usually used hanging. You're getting in a chair.
Levo's gotta get
That's like, what do they call? My dad used to, they had a name for the chair, like Old Buzzy or some bullshit, at least the one in Missouri, because it's in the prison. You can tour a prison in Missouri in Jefferson City that's fascinating, and you can go at nighttime for the ghost tour. It's just one of 9 states that maintains an electric chair. I mean, I can't think of anything more fucked up. Have you ever accidentally electrocuted yourself just a little bit?
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. Just maybe touched a wire or a socket and went, oh, that. It would become the 4th state to allow a firing squad. And who are the other states? Utah, Oklahoma, and Mississippi. He asked for lawmakers to give him any way to restart executions, since a few inmates have exhausted their appeals, but their death sentences couldn't be carried out. A Republican and a Democrat, both former prosecutors, proposed the idea of adding the firing squad. I guess the death penalty is going to be here for a while. If it's going to remain, it ought to be humane. Well, I don't think the electric chair is.
No.
God dang. Said Senator Dick somebody, who said hanging is brutal and often leads to decapitation, and in electrocution, the condemned are burned to death. Right. I'd rather you just shoot me in the head. Mm-hmm. There was some fat man in the state of Washington, I remember. He used to have a joke about it. I don't even remember what the joke was, but he sued the state of Washington because he said it was cruel and unusual punishment to hang a fat man because of his weight, that his head would snap off. And I'm like, you know what? It's cruel and unusual. It's unusual to hang anyone. Is it extra? They forgot the word extra. They should have said it's extra cruel to the chubbies. Speaking of which, I now have, and we're going to read them all. I'm not going to drag this on week to week. What are the fattest cities in America?
Cities?
Cities. And it's not what I thought. Report ranks 4 Tennessee cities in top 20. Tennessee, what are you doing down there? Is it the hot chicken? Memphis, is it the barbecue?
Yeah.
Here's the fattest cities in America. Ready? Do I have anything to celebrate? No, I don't even have one. I don't have anything fattening really. Well, these are fattening, I suppose. All right, fattest city in America.
Raise your beer.
My beer, I got my beer. That'll help you. McAllen, Texas, you're number 1.
Wow.
I'm not here to shame you. I'm here to alert you. You're gonna have some problems if you remain this fat. Health problems, right? But I also, who am I to judge? Second city, Memphis, Tennessee, barbecue. Barbecue, and then the sides are so good. Dreamland barbecue, oh my God. Baked beans, I can see it. Baton Rouge, Louisiana, you're 3rd. Well, crab claws.
Yeah.
Fried shrimp.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Shreveport, Louisiana, you're 5th. That's where my aunt lived. There's an Air Force base down there. Her husband was an Air Force guy. Shreveport, been there many times. Again, we got delicious Cajun food. I get it. 6, Birmingham, Alabama. Now, come on, Birmingham, you're not by the ocean. What are you doing down there? I'm going to go down there. Well, I've been there. There's a club there, the Stardome. I've been there a lot. I didn't really take note of their food per se compared to, it didn't seem to be like a thing. Number 7, Jackson, Mississippi. It's all the South.
Yeah.
I don't think there's one Midwest.
Yeah, but
9, Lafayette, Louisiana. Oh, wait, sorry, I forgot 8. Where one of my brothers went to college, Mobile, Alabama.
delicious.
It's so good. I get it. 9, Lafayette, Louisiana. 10, Knoxville, Tennessee. College town. Why? Oh, my God. 11, Chattanooga, Tennessee. And I love Chattanooga. I think it's an unsung song of a city that nobody cares. But that's not that nobody cares, but people don't think of it as much as they think in Nashville and Memphis. And I think Chattanooga, with its lakes and up on the hill, I just think it's like its own little secret thing. If there was a better airport, I might just move right there. 12, Tulsa, Oklahoma. Maybe your guys are afraid of tigers and you're staying inside eating too much. Are you afraid to take a walk? Is that what's happening? 13, Augusta, Georgia.
Delicious.
Now, I've been to Augusta, Georgia many, many times to try to go to the practice rounds with my friend Von White of the Masters. We don't go to the real tournament. We go on Monday or Tuesday if we can, but I did not notice.
Cheese sandwiches.
Oh, the pimento cheese sandwiches, right. Well, it's a lot of that stuff. Yeah, true that. Fried chicken. They have a lot of fried chicken. 14, Greenville, South Carolina. Barbecue. Well, North Carolina didn't make it, and I like their barbecue better than any state in the whole, including my own. And St. Louis and Kansas City, or St. Louis ribs are famous. In Kansas City, famous for barbecue. Gates, love it. I love all of it, but I like the North Carolina. Their barbecue the barbecue sauce is vinegar based. I like it better, but anyway. 15, Fayetteville, Arkansas, college town. I've been there, did a show. That's also the home of Walmart. Yeah. 16, Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Been there many times with Lewis, golfing. I can see it, and they have a lot of buffets. Wow. And then you can find the swampy places in the back, woods that are just great. 17, San Antonio, Texas. Well, come on. The food there is so good. So much great Mexican food. All of it. Yeah. 18, Wichita, Kansas. What? Why? The burger place?
Yeah.
No. Yeah. I think it's cold, and they're just not.
And they're eaters.
They're eaters. Yeah, they're just eaters. They're not getting out enough. 19, New Orleans. Totally get it. 20th fattest, Nashville. Hot chicken, barbecue. Highest blood pressure in the whole country, Jackson, Mississippi. Yep. Most diabetics, El Paso. So I don't know, guys. That's not judgment. That's just letting you know you're on the list. So noted. If you're feeling fat and you want to feel not so fat, perhaps you could take note of those cities and go there. Then you'd be like, see, I fit right in. No problem here. Okay, moving on. Well, let's move on to this. Speaking of Tennessee, since 4 out of 20 of the fattest cities are there, they found a Nazi, a real live Nazi in Memphis.
What?
Yeah, 95 years old.
How?
How did they find him? I'm just going to tell you what I know.
Okay.
Friedrich Karl Berger, a 95-year-old German citizen, was ordered removed from the United States February 2020 when a U.S. immigration judge determined his willing service as a guard of concentration camp prisoners constituted assistance in Nazi-sponsored persecution. Here's the thing. He didn't deny. The picture of him as a young man, he doesn't look like some of the Nazis. They look like, you're like, oh shit, that dude looks mean as shit. This guy doesn't look the part. But this is a photo from 1959. He had worked as an armed guard at a bunch of camps. Most of the prisoners were Russian, Dutch, and Polish. There were also Jews, Danes, Latvians, French, and Italians, and political opponents. He said when he was 94 years old that the case was based on lies. I was 19 years old. I was ordered to go there. He said that he was only at the camp for a short time and denied carrying a weapon after 75 years. Like, this is ridiculous. I cannot believe it. I cannot understand how this can happen. You're forcing me out of my home. Well, Friedrich, this was not your original home. No, I do not think so. No, you snuck over here. And here's the thing. He's still collecting a pension from the German government. You know, here, if you want to distance yourself, I don't think you can do that.
Nazis money.
And then people go, well, isn't that mean? I mean, he's 95. I don't know. You're still taking a check for it. So off he went. Now, there's a documentary somebody should do. Where's this guy go? What's he do? You're 95. I don't know. But if you keep doing this, at least you prove to people you can't get away with this forever. We will, the whole fact, we will hunt your ass down. And they did it. Memphis. I don't know. The article doesn't say, like, how did he end up there? I'm going to have to Google his name more because it is kind of bizarre that how did he end up just living in the United States and nobody... But in the 50s, apparently, I have seen in shows and stuff that we just let all kinds of them come on, especially if you were good at science and math, because like Huntsville, Alabama, because of the rocket stuff, tons of old Nazis are there.
They're hiding.
My dad used to say when we drive, now look around, there's Nazis everywhere. I'm like, really? Where, Dad? I'm sure they're dead now or 95. It just doesn't say how he got to Memphis. I don't know. I would understand Huntsville.
Maybe he likes barbecue.
Maybe. Yeah. I don't know. I'll find out, but it's weird. Like, that's the documentary somebody should do. Not me, because that takes a lot of work and I don't have the skill. I don't have the time. I'm very busy watching Oprah interview two people who I don't know, and I don't really care about either which way. I don't care. I hope they have a fairy tale life in Montecito. And I would say to Harry and Meghan, if you're going to have some free time, it appears, if you're interested in golf, there's a Montecito Country Club that my friend Ron White got to belong to after he made a little money. Just delightful. There's also a public course up there called Sandpiper. It's like, I don't know, reasonably priced. I would suggest that.
I don't think she golfs.
I don't think either one of them golf. Polo. Perhaps polo.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Santa Barbara and Montecito are fancy enough. They might have polo. There's horse ranches up there. Here we go. Okay, I think we talked about this. I loved El Chapo on Netflix. I mean, I don't love the man El Chapo. He was violent, and he wasn't nearly as celebratory as Pablo Escobar. Pablo, Good Time Charlie. El Chapo, mean little man. Didn't really seem to have a sense of fun. There's a new El Chapo, though, because El Chapo's in prison in Colorado. And guess who he is? Now I'm obsessed with this guy. El Mencho!
Nice.
Right? That's a good name. Mencho. I like it. Mencho. Have you seen? The DEA has touted a $10 million reward for information leading to El Mencho's arrest. But so far, authorities have come up empty. The CJNG, I don't know, has only existed for about a decade, but it rose to power. That's the cartel thing I think they're talking about. But it rose to power much more quickly than the rival cartel. Its influence now stretches across 6 continents and 28 of Mexico's 32 states. Major cities, the Ching, I guess they're called. Ching, CJNG. That's his gang. He's already been indicted. El Mencho has already been indicted in a U.S. federal court of drug trafficking, corruption, and murder. But following his trail has been difficult. This is why the El Chapo stuff's so fascinating about Pablo, how they scoot around. But they always end up in like pajamas getting pulled out of a closet at the end. I mean, if you're going to do this, You got to go big and you got to do it right. And you can't be hanging out like El Chapo's hanging out with his dipshit kids who have their location on Instagram and say, hi, Dad, we're going to post this. And then boom, he's in jail. You got to stay away from all the social media. Following his trail, this is so great. His trail has been difficult. At one point, the DEA might believe he might be hiding in the mountains, but it's been challenging to pin him down. They can't find El Mencho. In many ways, he has been a ghost, one source says. He was born in the tiny Mexican town of Naranjo de Chilea in 1966. So he's 54. He lived for a time in California. He was arrested in the United States in the 80s for selling drugs. He eventually made his way back to Guadalajara and began working for the Emiliano cartel, a subsidiary of El Chapo's one. He rose through the ranks after splitting off into his group around 2007. The resulting group, the group he created, CJNG, would quickly unleash a new wave of violence on its rivals. In 2016, when El Chapo was captured, the bloodshed intensified. El Mencho's shadowy history doesn't reveal much, except perhaps why it's been so hard to find him. He seems a lot more disciplined than El Chapo was. El Chapo liked to live the lifestyle, the flashy lifestyles, the car, the women, nice restaurants, alcohol. El Mencho is content to stay away from that stuff, to work out, to eat right, and stay off the radar.
Wow, yeah.
Well, you know what? I like to run a drug cartel, and when I'm not doing that, I like to eat right and work out.
Clean eating.
Clean eating. One of his few known vices is, oh my God, here's his vice. His reported love of cockfighting. Which has earned him another nickname, the Lord of the Roosters. Wow.
You just made him German.
El Mencho's American-born son, Ruben Asquera Gonzalez, was arrested in 2015 and is now being held in a maximum security prison in Mexico as U.S. authorities asked for his extradition on drug and weapon charges. There you go. That's what we're looking for.
Cool.
Can you find him? You think you can? $10 million. You can find El Mencho. Go to your local, what is it? Cockfight. South Carolina? You got any cockfighting? Who's got cockfighting? Where's that still legal? Probably somewhere. Big news. Would you do this? I would not. Construction on the first ever space hotel will begin in 2025.
Oh my God.
The Intergalactic Inn will feature restaurants, movies, theaters, and enough rooms for over 400 guests. Paddles will put this in the show notes. But when you see the picture of this thing, it looks like a Ferris wheel, if you will, floating in space. No. That's my answer to that. Have you always dreamed? I mean, yes, the views are, the pictures of this thing, if it really turned out that way. Have you always dreamed of seeing outer space? For the most part, space aficionados everywhere could only think about enjoying the galaxies through the experience reported by astronauts or photos provided by the space agency. But now there's something new for those aspirations visiting. They're going to begin it in 2025. Oh my God. But it will also orbit around the Earth. Oh, no fucking way.
What?
I have enough problems just in a regular Hilton. The last thing I want is to be, you know, you check in and you're like, the air conditioning doesn't work right in my room. We will send maintenance up. It's going to be about 8 hours. This hotel, called the Voyager Station, will rotate in a large circle and have a similar gravity to the moon, have a similar gravity to the surface of the moon. While its features already seem far from what hotels are like here on Earth, it's actually supposed to resemble a cruise ship-like experience. You should stop saying that. Yeah. Don't say that. Because there's a whole bunch of us that got on a cruise ship and went, yeah, no, I'm never doing this again. Including a health spa and themed restaurants. You'll have to be patient if you want to plan a visit, though. It won't open its doors till 2027 at the earliest, but it will feature modules attached to the outer rings of the space station. There will be 24 modules operated by the Gateway Foundation for the exclusive area for crew, air, water, and power. Some will also have gyms, kitchens, restaurants, bars, and other needs for people who will be in the hotel for extended periods of... Oh, no. Oh. they say it's the next industrial revolution. I believe that people are intending to do this. I believe that they think it's your truth. I don't think it's not truth though.
What if it's overbooked? Where do you go?
You go to check in and they're like, oh, we're sorry. We're overbooked. So, all right. I do have to do Jordan Peterson because I have been talking about it because, like on my Google headlines, this guy turns up all the time. And all I knew is he was a Canadian. He caused some shit. So that's like how I would write my book reports. Canadian, caused some shit, not too much shit, pretty smart, went to MIT and McGill, blah, 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 blah. I knew he was a self-help person. So I watched on Netflix, there's a show, now I don't remember the name of it, Paddles, we can find it. It's just like it's a biography about Jordan Peterson, but if you watch this show, and I didn't know anything other than he's a self-help person who wrote a book, and I knew he was really mad about the Canadian government making some law about pronouns that, I don't know, people, if they want to be called an it or a he, she, or whatever the fuck, right? To which I say, fine. You know what? I'll call you whatever you want. You want to be monkey ass? Fine. I don't have a problem with that. If you're a woman, you want to be called he? Fine. I don't care. I don't know why that was a big deal, but for him it was. Anyway, I knew he wrote a book, and then you want to hear something crazy creepy? This is how I know. This is what actually brought him to my attention to begin with. My friend, the comedian Ron White, has a company that he's very proud of called OMG, which stands for something, I don't know.
Good research.
I don't know, I forget. But whatever, that company runs meet and greets, like paid meet and greets. But anyway, he runs his company, and then my friend works for that company. And my friend said, holy shit, I'm on the road with this Jordan Peterson guy. And I go, is that the Canadian who wrote some self-help thing? He seems very guy-centric too. That's another reason I think I just went, nah, whatever. For the young men. And he's like, you're not going to believe how many flipping people are at these things. And I go, really? For an author? They want to meet? I mean, I know, but I just don't picture. He's like, it's a madhouse. And I was like, okay, so who is this guy, right? Jordan Peterson. Well, then I watched the thing on Netflix. First of all, they go inside his house, and he has, the paintings are like people in revolutions with gas mask on, and then like neo-Marxist stuff. Like, what the fuck? Like, this is not normal. He seemed so depressed. Not 1 ounce of fun in this guy. Not that everybody needs to be a good time Charlie all the time. I know there's serious people. Well, I mean, I know I have friends that are doctors. They're serious people, but they're not like serious all the time. This guy just seemed intense and nothing. I don't know. If you watch the Netflix thing, I'd be like, he wrote a book. This was his big one called The 12 Rules for Life. Now, I didn't read the book. I'm not interested. But I did read his 12 rules. And here's why I didn't read the book. Because I find the 12 rules out of the gate to be kvetchy. And if you're going to do this shit, then I'm already pissed. Like, here's his rules. Number 1, stand up straight with your shoulders back. Okay. I mean,
school.
right. But see, I'm sure that chapter, this is just he made quirky titles on purpose to get you to read it. And now that's where my Irish gets up and I go, no, I won't do it.
Blah, blah.
It's obstinate and defiant on my part. I realize that. And there's probably things I've missed in life because of that said kind of attitude. But that's my attitude when it comes to this kind of shit. Stand up. Number 2, treat yourself like you are someone you are being responsible for helping. 3, make friends with people who want the best for you.
Okay.
Yeah, here's me getting home from a bar. I just made friends with these 2 people that I know any chance they have, they're going to fuck me over. Why would I do that? I wouldn't do that. This is just, it's common sense wrapped up in quirky, and then you're supposed to read the chapter, I'm sure, and then he's going to go into it all. Compare yourself with those who were yesterday, not with someone else's, not with someone else is today. Do not, number 5, do not let your children do anything that makes you dislike them. What?
Well, that's never going to work.
No. Don't let them do anything that makes you dislike them. I would say probably half of the things all of us has done, my parents were like, yeah, I don't really like that. To get to be their own people. 6, set your house in perfect order before you criticize the world. Okay. 7, pursue what is meaningful. 8, tell the truth, or at least don't lie. Right. If somebody says, do I look fat in these jeans? Just go, I like your shirt. I didn't lie. And I did tell a truth. But I didn't tell that. I didn't answer that. It's called, that's called pivoting. Do you have a hat? 9, assume the person you're listening to might know something you don't. Right. 10, be precise in your speech. Right. 11, do not bother children when they are skateboarding. See what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a kvetchy thing to read the chapter. I'm off-put by that. Now, I don't know what's in the chapters, and maybe they've helped a whole lot of people. Clearly they have. There's all kinds of people, mostly young men, and then I feel like, what happened there? Why is it, Number 12, pet a cat when you encounter one on the street. Not only is that kvetchy, that's bad, not necessarily good advice. Because there's a shitload of feral cats that if you try to pet them, will have zero problem biting you in from 0 to 30 seconds. And then said cat, you're going to have an infection in your hand. And then what? Sepsis. And then what? Early death. It's all started from that one. So that's his book. So he was very popular. People liked him. He's scooting along. And then this. This is so fucking crazy. And he has another book out. Just try to follow. This was not in the movie because none of this had happened yet. Let me see. There's only one. Okay, this one. This is where I go, okay, we're having a meltdown of the self-help guy. And he is very smart. McGill in Canada, it is like Yale, and he went to MIT. Like, there's something off, very, very off, though, when you watch the thing. Like, I don't know. Jordan Peterson was suicidal, hooked on benzodiazepines, diagnosed as schizophrenic, and taken to Russia by his daughter, where doctors put him in an 8-day coma as he promotes self-help book that publishers try to can. Okay. Yeah. He was flown to Russia by his daughter, placed in an induced coma for controversial treatment that left him delirious, according to the controversial clinical psychologist and his eccentric daughter. The daughter's all in on this, too. The pair sat for a bizarre interview with the Sunday Times, dishing on the spiraling decline of the conservative superstar while also promoting the long-awaited sequel of the lauded self-help book. So he has a second book. I don't know what it's called. Pick up a mouse if you see one. Help a mouse.
Hug your mother.
Yeah. Oh, shit. Call your grandma. She's bored. The daughter is strangely looped in. The wife is very odd. In the movie I saw. I can only talk about the movie. I don't obviously know these people. But Peterson's daughter, podcast host, Michaela Peterson, described his fall from grace starting 18 months ago as like a horror movie, highly protective over her father and his well-being while he updated the world on his condition. This is him. I don't remember anything from December 16th of 2019 to February 5th, 2020, the Canadian psychologist said of the time period when he was flown to Russia for treatment. I don't remember anything at all. Peterson is well known for his grow-up approach to adulthood and his 2018 book, 12 Rules for Life, An Antidote to Chaos, an international bestseller. So sold 5 million copies. There you go.
Great.
Yeah. But according to Michaela, the problems for Peterson started before his book took off on the bestseller list. It started in 2016. Her and her Russian husband, the daughter, they were only consuming meats and greens, a prequel to the lion diet she has championed to help combat symptoms that she says are associated with juvenile rheumatoid arthritis. Okay, well, he died, a friend, a very funny comedian, and he had juvenile rheumatoid, and it is very painful. But the dad doesn't have it. So are we eating in solidarity? Maybe. Only consuming meat and greens? The lion diet. Never heard of that one. Wow. While all three had violent sodium metabisulfite response. I can't even fucking know.
This is hard.
I know it's hard, but I'm saying, but wait till you hear the end. It is hard. I know. That's why I keep putting it off, because I keep trying to get a better understanding of it, and I can't. I've read all the articles. It was really awful, but it hit him the hardest. He couldn't stand up without blacking out. He had an impending sense of doom. He wasn't sleeping. Okay, well, all this from just eating meat?
Yeah, I don't know about that.
And he claims he didn't sleep for 25 days during this time, something that is widely disputed as the longest period of sleeplessness, because the longest period of sleeplessness is recorded is at 11 days. Yeah. Do you believe you could go 25 days without sleeping paddles?
No, I don't.
No.
No.
I don't believe that. But he also says he doesn't remember anything. So how does he know this? Maybe somebody told him. I don't know. He was in really bad shape, right? Michaela asserted it was during this time that Peterson was first prescribed a really low dose of benzodiazepine. Now, one of my comedian friends who really liked pills, and I don't really know that much about pills. I was just like beer and smoke, cigarettes, But she told me, Madigan, anytime you can get any drug that ends in Pam, take it. And then his life has gone on from age 25. Occasionally you'll see the medicines. I got one for my tooth at some point, something Pam, and I'm like, oh, this is one of the gold ones that my friend was talking about. Okay, so he was prescribed a very low dose of this, and I'm sure these things can be highly addictive, I would imagine. It's an antidepressant. It's part of the familial drug that includes Xanax and Valium. Which is weird, because Valium makes me, I've taken that too with teeth stuff, makes you very sleepy. I don't know what Xanax makes you feel like, but he says he didn't sleep for 24 days. That sounds like the opposite. If I didn't know better, I'd say, La Coca! Did you go see El Mencho and get the Coca? No, he's not a drug guy like that. The family saw positive results from the drug, and life moved on. So he took a little of the we'll just call it benzo. Then I don't have to pronounce the diazepine.
The Pam.
It's not a peen. It's not a Pam. It's a pine. Pine. Peterson was a household name of the early 2019, but was left devastated after his wife for 30 years was diagnosed with kidney cancer. The clinical psychologist was terrified at the idea of his wife dying as she struggled battling the disease that she would eventually beat. Okay, so she beat kidney cancer. His doses of benzos were raised during the summer, but instead of helping ease his qualms, things only seemed to get worse. And then it just fell insanely apart with Tammy. Every day was life and death in a crisis for 5 months, Peterson explained. The doctor said, well, she's contracted this cancer that's so rare, there's virtually no literature on it. And the 1-year fatality rate is 100%. So endless nights sleeping on the floor in the emergency and continual surgical complications, so I took the benzos, he said. His loyal daughter added, Dad started to get super weird, and it manifested as extreme anxiety and suicidality. I didn't know that was a word. Then he went to a treatment clinic. I'm not going to go through it all. Treatment clinic in North America, and it made it worse. They were out of options. So then he went to Moscow with the judgment of his family that if he stayed in Toronto, he would die. Oh. Well, he's trying to get off. They They prescribed ketamine to get off the benzos. So in Moscow, he was intubated for an undiagnosed pneumonia and administered propofol. That's the Michael Jackson drug. When did I get propofol? Oh, for a colonoscopy. I loved it.
Oh my God.
I loved propofol. I'm like, I even told the doctor, I'm like, this is probably why Michael Jackson liked it. I can't judge on that one, man. If you could get this shit at home, it was like the best nap ever. You wake up, you feel fine, no problem. He was in a coma for 8 days, this guy. While in the coma, they cleaned the drugs out of his system and he regained consciousness. He still had a long road to recover, though. He was catatonic, really, really bad. And then he was delirious. He said he thought my husband was his old roommate. Oh, it was horrible. I lost a bunch of hair. I've never been stressed. We brought Dad here, and it was like, what did the detox? Was it too hard on his brain? I thought, I'm fucked up. I'm fucked if this goes badly. The entire world's going to blame me because who brings somebody to detox from these medications to Russia? It's like, this is really bad. Okay, the kid's already thinking about how this is going to look. How about the fact your dad might die? Peterson was transferred to a local hospital, given a new drug, and became more alert. In February, he had no recollection of his memory. Peterson also didn't know how to walk, having to learn again. He was flown to Florida and watched by nurses at a house in Palm Beach. But 10 days later, his old symptoms returned and he was unable to stop moving. Are you following what I'm saying?
Kind of, yeah.
That's what I'm saying, kinda, because it doesn't.
It's crazy and hard.
Yeah. He was in so much pain, he was suicidal again. We're almost done, Paddles. I feel it's hard too. Okay. Then he got coronavirus.
What?
What? Well, after all this shit, she flew her father to a top-grade private hospital in Belgrade, Serbia. Then he was diagnosed with akathisia, a relentlessness condition linked with the withdrawals of the benzos. He was prescribed more sedatives. The coronavirus, and then he got that somewhere along the line. Anyway.
Yeah.
He's back in Toronto.
Lucky them.
I don't know. I think you guys, if you want to see, I don't think the film was good. I mean, it's well done, but to see this guy, I think a polite thing to say would be I would have a tough time taking advice from him because I think he's super confused about all kinds of shit. But I also think it might be a ploy to just be a shit stirrer-upper. And there are plenty of them around. And that's how they make a living. And they get attention. And it works for them. But, I mean, he's such a big deal. What is this spam coming to my phone? Sorry. I think we should end
on a better note.
I know, but it's a big deal. He's a thing.
Totally. Yeah.
But I did read a review of his new book. They said it was garbly gook. The review I read, and it was by someone respectable.
Did he write it in Serbia?
I don't.
Well, he had COVID.
He probably doesn't remember writing it,
No.
like he said. I understand people can, obviously, I understand people can be addicted to drugs and alcohol and all those things. Friends, family, we've dealt with all that. But this was like 50 things.
Yeah.
That's why, and then I think, what's the daughter's in charge of this story? She's the one, we flew him to Russia, then to Serbia, then back to Toronto, then down to Florida. We did a Florida swing for no apparent fucking reason. I don't know. I just don't. When there's that many things, I think something is getting mixed up in the message that's being told.
It's too cold in Toronto.
And if there's clips of him online with mostly young men that seem to have really gotten things out of him, which is good. I'm just saying this latest incident. Here's something really funny. Paddles will put this in the show note, and you can see the picture. When Belgian wildlife photographer Yves Adams stepped off his inflatable Zodiac boat onto the island of South Georgia in the southern Atlantic Ocean, the beach was crammed full of animals. But as Adams scanned the bustling crowd of king penguins, elephant seals, and fur seals, he spotted something bizarre in the distance. Suddenly, we saw this group of king penguins swimming off the coast. And then there was this one particular bird that took our attention, a pale bird. At first, he wasn't sure what he was looking at. The lifelong birder. I didn't know they were called birders.
Burger.
Bird watching, my parents say, is a big thing in Florida with the old people. But I guess I thought they were called bird watchers, not birder. This lifelong birder was leading a photography expedition, and he had studied the island species before arriving. What the group saw didn't look like anything they had expected. I was a little bit in shock, he says. I thought I might have skipped some page in a booklet. A peek through the binoculars confirmed that the bird was a king penguin, but instead of sporting the species' typical black, white, and yellow plumage, this one was all white with more yellow highlights than normal. Oh, no black. He does not have the tuxedo look. He has a yellow head. Wait till you go to the show notes and see this picture of this thing. When the bird began swimming closer, he couldn't believe his luck. I grabbed my camera and I started shooting. It was spectacular. The whole thing lasted less than a minute before the bird hopped on shore and blended into the colony of thousands of king penguins. After sightings, he said he couldn't stop thinking about what he witnessed. To his knowledge, no one had ever seen a penguin like this one. And now his photos have gone viral in recent weeks. Experts are equally perplexed. He said it's not albino. It's not albinism. Because those are usually all white with pink eyes and so on and so forth. It's some other condition. I can't pronounce it. No, I'm not going to try. Leucistic. So they have some pigment, but not enough to create. But you got to go. And then there's a picture of him swimming with all the rest, but they also said it's bad luck because he won't blend in, so he's easier prey. People will find him easier. A little more easily, and then boom, next thing you know, chomp chomp, bye bye, chicken pie. He'll be the first one eaten, is what they're trying to say in a polite. My God, damn it, get it together, Kathleen. Jesus Christ. Yeah, it was very loud. All right, termites. What are we gonna do? What else are we watching? Did you watch the Mormon thing on Netflix? It's about the bombings. About fraudulent documents. I read the book 100 years ago. I did not think the Netflix thing, it was fine. But if you've already read or even watched the news in the 80s when all that shit happened. But if you haven't, you should go watch that because it was very well done. And then I got Woody and Mia, and then I'm kind of out. I don't know what I'm going to do next. What are we going to be watching? I don't know. Lewis recommended something I forgot already. I forgot what he said. Oh, it's something. I don't know. I'll find out and tell you guys. But it begins with an M. I know that. The Woody Mia thing, just for the sake of history, and I don't know. I didn't know all that. But I also I was probably like a teenager when all that shit was happening. And I didn't care. I still don't really care, but it's, not working, so I'm bored, so I'll watch it. And I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot of things. I didn't even know Mia Farrow was in a show called Peyton Place, which I've heard about, but I've never seen in my life. I didn't realize she was a child star. I didn't know any of that. I just knew she was in Woody Allen movies. And my friend Lewis was in one. Have you ever seen that? Hannah and her sisters. Go see if you can find Lewis in that movie, because he does not look like he looks now. He was quite young. All right, termites. That's about all we got for this week. Getting warm outside. That's going to be so fun, isn't it? Summer, spring. Just spring is going to be fun. That's all I got for you guys. All right. Signing off with a what? Night, termites.